Sultan Shahryar has a brutal morning routine. He executes his new bride at dawn, every single day. Yet Scheherazade volunteers for the role, giving herself exactly one night to live. She enters the palace with zero physical power. She has no army to stage a coup, no political leverage to change the law, and no weapons to defend herself against the executioner. Her survival relies on a single psychological vulnerability. She has to capture the Sultan's attention so completely that he willingly suspends his own rigid execution schedule. This diagram shows how she builds a nested system. The outer ring is her lethal physical reality, but she actively forces the Sultan's focus into the inner layer, where she controls the environment through storytelling. She carefully controls the timing. She waits until the late hours of the night, right as the dawn prayer approaches, to begin the sequence. Scheherazade deploys a calculated structural mechanism to convert her executioner into a captive audience. To bait the trap, she begins her very first tale, The Bull and the Donkey. The plot is simple. A wealthy merchant with a secret ability to understand animals overhears his lazy donkey giving advice to the farm's bull. The donkey tells the bull to fake an illness to get out of pulling the heavy plow. The merchant uses his secret knowledge to teach the insubordinate donkey a lesson. He orders his men to strap the heavy yoke onto the donkey instead, forcing it to work the fields until it is utterly exhausted. This chart shows exactly why she chose this specific tale for her audience. On the left, we have the Sultan, a ruler who punishes his wives. On the right, the merchant, a wealthy leader who outwits his disobedient subjects. And the merchant possesses a secret that carries a lethal condition. If he ever reveals to a human what the animals say, he will die on the spot. Scheherazade mirrors her own life-or-death timeline directly into the protagonist's arc. By feeding the Sultan a story where the main character shares his worldview and authority, she flatters his ego and lowers his tyrannical defenses. Inside the story, the pressure mounts. The merchant's wife notices him laughing to himself and demands to know the secret. She issues an ultimatum: tell her what the animal said, or she will leave him. Unable to handle the argument, the merchant caves. He writes his will, gathers his servants, and prepares to speak his final words and die on the spot. Then Scheherazade stops talking. She points out the sunlight at the window and calmly states that it is time to rise and face her execution. This graph plots the psychological tension of the narrative. It builds steadily, but right before the climax, it hits a hard wall. Psychologists call this the Zeigarnik effect. Human brains remember interrupted, incomplete tasks more vividly than finished ones. The gap between that sudden interruption and the final resolution acts as an artificial barrier. The Sultan can only cross it and hear the ending by granting her another day of life. She takes the Sultan's own curiosity and weaponizes it, turning a storytelling cliffhanger into a physical shield against his blade. The following night, the Sultan lets her live so she can finish the story. The merchant overhears a proud rooster bragging about keeping 50 wives in line. Inspired, the merchant tricks his own wife by making animal noises until she laughs, forgetting her anger entirely. The merchant survives. But the resolution introduces a new threat. With the tension of the bull and the donkey completely gone, the trap is technically empty. The Sultan is free to call the guards. Scheherazade immediately plays her final card. Her sister, Dunyazad, who shares the room with them, speaks up on cue. She asks Scheherazade to tell a second, even more wonderful tale. This structural technique is the bridge. It hooks the audience on a new, superior premise before the previous story's satisfaction fades, forcing the mental momentum to keep moving forward. By instantly starting the next plotline, she resets the Zeigarnik trap. The Sultan remains caught in a continuous, multi-year loop of unresolved tension. By layering structural frames and tailored empathy, Scheherazade establishes a precise mechanism for psychological control.